Meet the most powerful man in Italy. He runs a criminal organization that has been around since the 19th century. His name is Matteo Messina Denaro. He is the boss of the Mafia. But how did he get to be the most powerful man in Italy? Well, it's a long story that dates back to the early 1900s. Back then, Italy was a mess. There were wars and economic crises, and people were desperate for a strong leader. Enter Mussolini. He promised to bring order to the country and make it great again. And the people were like, yeah, okay, let's go. So they voted and Mussolini won. But there was a problem. The vote was rigged. The Mafia had a candidate of their own and they weren't happy that he lost. So they made a new candidate, a puppet who would do their bidding. They chose a man named Sandro. He didn't have much political experience, but the Mafia didn't care. They were willing to bet on him because they knew that they could control him. And so it began. The strange tale of the Mafia's president. Every 5 years, the Mafia would put forward a candidate for president. They would make sure that he got elected, and then they would control him like a puppet. For example, they would tell him which laws to pass and which votes to make. And he would do as he was told. Now, this went on for decades, but eventually, the public started to catch on. They realized that the Mafia was controlling the government, and they weren't happy about it. So in 1994, they did something crazy. They voted for an independent candidate, a man named Oscar Luigi's. He was the first president of Italy who was not controlled by the Mafia. But the Mafia didn't take this lying down. They launched a massive campaign to get rid of him. They threatened his family, they intimidated his friends, and they tried to bribe him. But Scalfaro stood firm. He stayed in office for 5 years, and then he resigned. After that, the Mafia tried to make a comeback. They put forward a new candidate, a man named Carlo Azeglio Ciampi. But this time, the public was ready for them. They rejected the candidate, and the Mafia's influence began to decline. In fact, today, the Mafia is just a shadow of its former self. Its power is broken, and its influence is waning. Still, though, it's around. And who knows what the future may hold. That's all for today. See you next time.